Hello, everyone. Welcome to the AI Tripod podcast. We are going to talk about all things AI machine learning across three different perspectives. Hi, my name is Karthick. I'm a sophomore in high school.
Hi guys, I'm Loveneet. I'm an undergraduate studying computer science.
Hi, my name is Arun. I'm a professional with 25 years of experience. I'm here to share and learn about AI, generative AI. Glad to be here.
As usual, all views and opinions expressed are our own and do not represent any organization, employer, or company. This podcast is independently produced and all content is for informational purposes only. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the AI Tripod podcast. Today we'll be talking about Llama 4 model set, Amazon Nova Sonic, and the Google Cloud Next 2025 agent to agent thing that we've got going on. So let's start off with Llama 4.
So, what's going on with Lama, guys?
Have you guys seen the benchmarks that it has posted?
No, didn't get a chance to. What's exciting about that?
Yeah, I think I've seen
Uh,
that on their blog actually.
yeah. And I think the release timing was a very something that many in the community are saying that it was very quick. It was supposed to be on the 7th April, which was on Monday, but they released on the Saturday. I mean, it's a speculation, but people are saying that they rushed the whole you know, launching the model thing. And the thing is, we have many of the individual companies who have analyzed the whole thing, the whole model. So let me share my screen.
Interesting.
So this is one of the models, which is Llama 4 Scout model. And this is the site artificial analysis. This is like a very good site to make all the comparisons and everything. And here we can see the intelligence, the speed, and the price. So what they have found that the smallest model, which is fully open source, is Llama 4 Scout. So that is somewhere between, it's lower than the Gemini 2.0 Flash, but it's not bad. I mean, it's fully open source. It's a win for open source. The most astonishing thing is what the Llama is claiming to be, I think, the 10 million, context window. So
All right.
that is
I
something to
agree
be said.
with that. Right now, it's not 10 million, though. It's 1 million, right? Right now, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I think they have claimed it to be 10 million.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. So, yeah, 1 million context window is also a lot. 10 million is a whole lot bigger, right? We can put a whole bunch of stuff in that one request and query and leverage the intelligence, I guess, with all the context. Exciting. Okay.
Yeah, and let me share the screen for the official launch.
Also important to note that Llama 4 isn't just like one model, it's a huge set of models
Yeah,
that they've released. Llama 4
Three.
Scout.
Scout, Maverick. There you go. Scout, Maverick, and Behemoth.
Yeah.
yeah. So the Behemoth model, which is like 288 billion active parameters and 16 experts, is a total model of 2 trillion total parameters. And they're saying it's still in training, so it's not released to the public right now. Llama 4 Maverick is the one which is released, and Llama 4 Scout is the one that is released. I mean,
Yeah.
they are going with the, that MOE models, which is a mixture of experts architecture.
But I mean, that's proven to be a very useful architecture, right? DeepSeek and everything following same kind of patterns. So,
Yeah,
yeah, no.
Yeah, also there is some comparisons that I think I can try and screen now. They have some comparisons on the blog itself of like it versus older models of it. Let me share my screen really quickly and we can take a look at that. So this is the Llama 4 website, and these are the three models, obviously. So starting off with like Maverick, they have a comparison here versus DeepSeek, GPT-4, Gemini 2.0, and then their Llama 4 Maverick.
Yeah, you can see the cost
Cost
comparison, like 4.0 versus this, for example, the extremes, right? It's a big difference.
and 4.0 is at $4.38 per million input and output tokens. and that's compared to
I
Maverick,
think
which is 19 to 49.
like the best thing is that these models are multimodal from the ground up. You know that the R1 or the DeepSeek V3 was not a multimodal model,
I think they
but
showed
these
that
are.
somewhere here. They showed that like those weren't multi-model, but this one is, especially
Yeah.
this one versus their older models.
I mean, it just provides a much more richer experience, right? The ability to digest different modalities and be able to interact with that. It's definitely, and underscoring the importance of open source, which means people are going to take this and further innovate on it, right? We would see more specialized models come out of this. And the behemoth one, what I heard is, see, nobody's going to use, I believe, behemoth on its own because of the huge size and everything. But what they're going to use it for is to train smaller models like the Scouts, the future models, right? So they will use it to generate metadata and train the other, like more of the teacher-student type
Yeah.
pattern, right?
Loveneet, do we know if the Behemoth model is open source? Because I know the other two just said like download and you can try it out. But what about the Behemoth model? Do we know anything about that
I
yet?
think that is also going to be open source, but they are saying that it's still in training right now. So it's not even like launched. They're saying, and the thing is, they're saying that the Maverick and Scout model is basically, trained, a teacher and student model. They are basically trained through that model.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. I
I
mean,
think the
it just
best,
soon on their website. That's what it said. The
yeah,
behemoth.
I mean, have you guys heard that there was a bit of a, controversy kind of thing in the community that these models in LLM arena, Llama released a different variety of the model.
A different variety of the for the benchmark.
Not for the
Okay.
benchmarks, but for the LLM arena itself. So it only had like a very specific customized model, not the model that you can download, but a different variety of the model.
I heard
I mean,
about that. That's a little dicey, right? So then you start questioning the validity of these benchmarks as well. That didn't jive well with me
Even
as
like
well,
these
right? That's not a
metrics
great
listed on
practice.
screen here were released by Meta. Like this isn't some outside party doing it like how Loveneet was showing. This is Meta's own comparison versus like Claude Sonnet 3.7,
yeah, but
2.0 Pro 5.
still, some people in the community are saying that maybe this was one thing that Meta has done, which is not good. You know, putting a model which is more heavy on the conversation side on the LLM arena. But many people are saying still, I think the majority of the benchmarks would not be wrong because Meta is such a big company and they have a it's a very big AI lab and they are open sourcing it, so they know that people when will test will know. And I think there was this analysis. If I can share my screen, let me share the screen. This is a bit impressive. The artificial analysis, these people make comparisons very easy. And one thing good is that intelligence score of Llama Maverick, what they have tested, is better than 3.7 Sonnet.
Wow, that's big. 3.7 is a very good model in itself.
Yeah,
Better than that,
better than that.
cool, cool. And how about the cost? Curious.
So,
3.7.
I mean, what they have like here, they have for USD 1 million token, it's I think 0.3.
But guys, look at this, right? It's better in intelligence, and the cost is a fraction of 3.7. How much is 3.7, Sona? You can see right there, the tall graph there, right?
Yeah, 3.7 is around I think $6 according to this comparison. And here it's only $0.3.
Cost, like the
Yeah,
people call it cost of intelligence, right? Is a
yeah,
lot less.
yep. And even the
Interesting.
speed, output token speed is better than the 3.7 Sonnet.
Have you guys played with it at all yet? The
The
Maverick.
thing is, I think it's available in some of the places, but I haven't gotten the chance to play with it
Okay.
yet.
Yeah. Now you just increased my curiosity to go and play with it right now.
And it's right below OpenAI's models. In a lot of these charts, it's right below, like in the top charts above on the top of the page, it kind of showed them as like right below OpenAI, but like
So
above Claude 3.7
yeah,
Sonnet.
if you if you see this, like, chart here, you can see that the intelligence versus price ratio is here. Like for, I think this is the Maverick one.
It's
Yep.
the
Here we can see Llama 4 Scout is here. So this green area is the sweet spot for the intelligence versus price. Here we can see that all the proprietary models are very costly, like J4 or 3.7
This one
Sonnet.
is a very nice slide. Thanks for showing that up, Loveneet. Right? So this tells you the story: open source, closed source, where the value add is, and everything. Right?
Yeah. And the thing is, one of the things, we can add a specific model here. Let me see if I can add one.
yeah. We also see Nova
You can
Pro and Nova
add
Micro.
O1 Pro also. So here, if I remove, I think it was showing O1. Where maybe I have to play with a bit, but yeah, this shows a very good, way to see this intelligence versus output speed. We can see Gemini 2.5 is the fastest,
Wow.
but the context window, what it has claimed, is still the highest, I think.
10
Highest out of
million.
all of them
Yeah,
across the board.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
See this
Yeah. I'm
one, this
wondering.
is context window, 10 million. But
This one is an interesting slide. I was going to ask you this question. With context window, how the intelligence is performing, right? So when the context window goes to 10 million, see, there is some drop of intelligence.
There's a
It's not
drop.
like without that. You guys see that, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
they're like
yeah.
half of or
Yeah. So
But
it
it, yeah, go ahead, sir.
no, I'm going to say it may or may not be good depending on your use case scenario. Totally.
Yeah, I think what they have done here is they have said that the Llama 4 context window is very good, but I think there was another benchmark company which specializes only on the the needle in the haystack benchmark. It's not the best one.
Okay.
There's another benchmark. Let me just check it.
The haystack has been used for a while now to understand the context lens impact on the quality of the output, in essence.
Yeah, let me just bring it.
So, Loveneet, when do you think somebody should really be using this model versus something like Cloud Sign 3.7, which is almost one of the top ones there before getting to Llama for Scout there. You can see on that graph, it's like one of the ones that are the highest among those other ones that are at the lower end of the
Yeah, I
context.
think what this has done is that Meta has always been the one of the pioneers in open source models. And if we have something even comparable to 3.7 Sonnet intelligence, and we can fine tune it on our own on our own data, or enterprises or any other startups or anyone who wants to do that, if they can just fine tune it in their own use case, I think that provides a very big opportunity.
That's a good
And
point, right, Karthik? And if you look at it, the closed source models fine tuning is hard. I mean, you cannot, and every single enterprise wants to fine tune it to their own data needs and everything. In fact, they want to run it within their own data centers. So that could be a
Yeah,
big value add.
thing I was thinking about is like people are thinking, I think wasn't DeepSeek, I forgot if it had like an open source version or something like that people could like play around with, if I remember.
DeepSeek is open source too. They
Yeah.
just open source
People
it,
who
right?
are like, no, we don't want to use DeepSeek because it the Chinese model and all that stuff. But now with this, they might be able to use it to fine tune it because people had
People would trust Llama a lot better than DeepSeek. That's like for sure from
at
what I.
the end of the day, they're still like the company that owns it is still like selling data, doing all that stuff, but they would generally trust Llama and like Meta more than
Right. I would expect enterprises to start leveraging these models, bring it in house if they're concerned about security, and start fine tuning these to their special needs. That should, that is almost a given. It's going to happen, which is cool.
I think I've
Great. Okay.
found
Good.
this. This is the benchmark. Let me share the screen. So this was the one of the from Fiction Live bench for long context deep conversation. here we can see that as the length of the context increases, the accuracy decreases.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the main problem with the, here you can see, even though it is supposed to have 10 million context, but at 120K context, the quality decreases, which is
It's
supposed to
correct.
like 28.1
You know,
and 15.
I'm looking at this. Did you guys see the line on Gemini 2.5 Pro X 0325 model? Right? That
Yeah.
line, you see a drop, but you don't see a drastic drop, which is very different than the other ones.
The Gemini 2.5 Pro XB0.
Exactly. See, it starts with 100% quality, and look at that.
It ends at
It drops only
90.
10%.
Yeah, it ends with like 90.6, which means it only dropped 10 versus all the other models there.
Exactly. And this is just 120K though. Like this, for example, doesn't go beyond that because there are not a whole lot of models who work
Yeah.
in that area.
So, yeah, I
Absolutely.
think this benchmark is a bit different than the haystack one, because in haystack one, you are, I think what I'm sure is like you are about to, search some particular sentence or a word, but this benchmark, is more in the context, like if you want contextual answers, or like, if you want to get some contextual output from the model. This one is more on that.
The first column that says 0 and then the 400, you see the major drop happens for most of the models from 0 to like 400. I'm wondering what really that means. 0 means there is like no context. You just ask a question without providing any context. 400 means you add some context to it and you see the drop.
Yeah. Also, you can see like Gemini 2.0 Flash 001 goes from 100 to 63 within that point, within that 400.
Exactly. That's an interesting observation, actually. So I'm like wondering why. Major drop happens the very first step you take. And then the drop slows down. The rate of drop slows down from what I can tell in the statistics. It's an
Yeah.
interesting benchmark. I mean, you have to dig deeper into this to see what that
Yeah,
really
also
means.
for all your listeners, we're looking at like a table that shows long context, deep comprehension among like all the major models from O1, GPT 4.5 to Claude 3.7 Sonnet, DeepSeek, Gemini, and like the new
Okay.
Llama models.
But looks like this has definitely made an impact in the industry. Okay, cool. So what else we have going today,
I think
apart from the llamas?
I think the other major news has been around Amazon Nova Sonic that has released.
Yes. Have you guys played with it at all yet?
No, but I've heard like samples of what it sounds like. But no, I haven't played around with it really.
Good. I have actually. So I did set it up. I converse with it, right? Back and forth. And they said you can interrupt it in between. I interrupt it, it stops, it adjusts its response back, and then talks back, with the details. It's really looking pretty cool to start with, and I'm sure there are only few voices now available. Like they may add more voices in the future, and who knows? My excitement is there could be a day not too far from now where I could clone my voice, like how Google did recently in their conference, right, with the chirp model, right? So I could do that and I'm done. Then I can put that thing there and let it talk to anybody. You call me, you may be talking to my avatar voice and you won't even know the difference.
Yeah, that would be world.
You know what benchmark I have for that? The day I fool my wife to think that it's me and she's not able to identify, that's the benchmark. And that's not far away. Going to come very close. Good. You guys have any other viewpoints on that, Karthik,
Yeah.
on this Nova model that you have looked into?
Yeah, so for that Nova Sonic model, I think I've heard it also, I think it was in the tool version of it where it's able to use tools that
Hmm?
it kept on like talking and then immediately chopping itself off and then attempting to respond again and then immediately chopping itself off over and over and over without realize like it kept on like almost not stuttering but like talking for like a couple seconds and then it just stops abruptly stops and it asks again and then it abruptly stops in the middle of like the sentence, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe that's like a bug or something like that that's going
You
on
know,
right now.
this will mature. I think, again, my experience was relatively better. Like I didn't observe it that much, but this is going to improve. And that's why they are like going through this preview process and all of that stuff. But definitely it's going to get a lot better. And the use cases is going to open up are going to be really amazing. Look at the, customer call center, right? When I call companies now, customer call center, they say, hold on, let me get you an agent. What does that tell you, right? You don't need to hold on. You need a more advanced technology to take care of the customer needs. You pick the phone, you do that 800 number, you're able to talk to somebody like a live kind of looking for, hearing person, get your stuff done. There should be zero wait time. There's no excuse to have any wait time any longer. No more the waiting sound or the crazy music that goes on while you wait for this agent to show up, right? That's going to change. That is going to change.
Yeah.
No more wait.
I think I can also show some examples that they have on their website of the model talking like a business assistant, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Let me share my screen and we can take a
That's a
look at
good thing.
here. I think I have it here. So here's their website. They obviously, I think they've also released the pricing for this. I have to double check on that, but they have released the pricing. It's almost similar to GPT-4o mini TTS or transcript, kind of the similar cost. But here's the audio. Yeah, then there's also this version, which is a voice sample of business assistant. Yeah, so that's like an example of how the model sounds like, and some examples, some use cases that they put there of like learning a new language or a business assistant. And I know that the voice sounded a little bit robotic in that example, but it's one of the voices I'm doing. It's just one of their voices that they were able to use
No,
for
no, no. Let me stop you here for a second, right? If I didn't tell you this was this, and somebody normal person listens to it, do you think it is robotic, or do you think they would think it's a real person? What do you guys think?
I thought it was pretty close. I didn't like, I mean, if I was not thinking it's not, I would
Sure.
not have guessed that much.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of bias of like knowing that it's
Exactly.
but
Your
getting like
opinion was more biased, I think, because you already knew that, right? But if I
Yeah,
didn't
I
tell you
hadn't
and you
seen that.
that, you wouldn't know the difference, in my opinion. It's pretty close, very close.
and
So
with
yeah,
new voices as well, I think because this one sounds more, of course, like the usual voices in it. When they bring on more voices, I think it'll be it's a little bit more like realistic. But I think pretty soon they'll start adding like new voices, almost like how GPT has, and
I
making
think
it
it
more.
would be, I think it would be cool to compare this one with the OpenAI has that GPT voice mode.
you're talking about that mini TTS model, is that
Not even the mini TTS, but
Like
their
just
voice.
in the chat GPT when you go to the voice mode and you start talking with it.
correct?
Yeah, there are a couple voices. Yeah, those voices is what Loveneet is talking.
I mean, hey, I've heard those voices too. They're very similar, comparable to what we just heard on this example.
I
Yeah.
feel like the one difference is that those voices are able to like purposely pause in the middle of a sentence and like you know how when somebody's talking, those
Mhm.
like little things that happen whenever you're talking, it's able to emulate that a little bit better, I feel like. And maybe that's why it sounds a little bit different. But that then again, I don't know if people are gonna pay attention that much to that, but it just adds a little bit more realism when it has like that natural like when you pause and that sort of thing when you're talking.
Talking about that, I know it's a little unrelated, but still a relevant topic here, right? Google LLM. You guys have seen Google LLM, right? You throw a bunch of
Mhm.
things, generate a podcast, man and woman talking. We listen. That's what it is, right? Do you guys know they added a beta feature to Google LLM? Did any of you guys know? You know what it does? Go check it out. Yesterday I checked it out. Very cool. So I start this podcast. Two people are talking. There is a button that says let me get in. If you click on the button, they stop. They go like, oh, the listener has a question, looks like. What is your question? And I ask them the question, clarify, they pause, they clarify my question, and then they continue talking what they were talking.
I've
I'm
seen
like,
that one.
wow.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Have you seen that
I've
one?
seen
And
that.
you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
if you're not experimented with it, anybody go experiment with it. It's like
It's
so
very cool.
cool.
It's a very cool thing. It's literally like
sorry, I was going to say we could build something like that using this this Novasonic model and other technologies blended together, right? Really pull it off. Those are the kind of use cases.
So is this the so does this Nova model is only like text to speech, or is it like how the GPT-4 or voice mode is kinda has the
That's a
knowledge?
very good question, right? The thing typically what we have done in the past is voice to text, do the LLM work, get the text back from LLM, convert text to voice. So that's how we have done, all of us, right? And it takes time. It's not real time, right? We have had problems. Now this is native, like the voice itself goes, and there is no like intermittent transmission to
So
like
you're not
text and then
transferring it
text
to
back to
another
voice.
That
node.
man, okay, that that makes it a bit different. Okay.
Right. I mean, Karthik, you had something to say.
Yeah, it's not like that mini TT. I mean, mini TTS I think does also do the same thing of like itself kind of going and doing the own thing, but I think yeah, I'm kind of surprised that I thought it was just going to like Nova, one of the
Let
Nova
me
models, and doing
That's
the
what I thought.
let me share something with you guys. It's like pretty cool. You should probably see this, right? I'm going to share my screen here and show you guys this. You guys able to see the diagram?
Hmm.
yeah we
Right.
can.
So here, this is the architecture of Novasonic, right? You have the client, you have the server side, and Bedrock is already enabled with it. And the clients start talking. This is the protocol that goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it maintains the session, two-way session, one talking, one responding back. All of that is managed within this framework here. So if you go to this website here, which will be put in the link as well, you could really see how these things work.
I'll
And
put that in the sources as well. Yeah.
yeah, and again, this one I found, this I'm going to put in the sources as well. Marcelo did an excellent job here, and here it kind of really explains. The top part is your web browser, the middle part is your server, the bottom part is the Bedrock Novasonic model, right? It uses the HTTP 2 to do the live streaming. It goes all the way in there, gets the response. As we keep talking, the response will keep coming back as well. It's pretty cool. That's what gives the
Okay.
real time flavor.
Yeah, so has anyone tried to use the Sonic model mixed with like what I know a couple weeks ago we talked about MCPs. I'm curious if anybody's gonna try to combine those two, because I know there's a fictional assistant called Jarvis that's used in like the Marvel movies, and the whole purpose is that it's a voice assistant that can do anything for you, and that's what Alexa and everyone tried to do back in like 2010s, kind of like everybody tried to do that with the voice assistants. But could somebody do that with Sonic and MCB, then somehow create something like that?
I think,
Almost like the
you
business
know,
assistant that you see in the
I
examples.
think I've heard some companies using 11 labs to actually build something like that. I'm not sure if that was like some food companies through the drive-through when you go, you place your order. I'm not sure, but I think I heard that some company tried doing that and they were pretty much successful doing that. So if that can happen, we are not very
You know,
far away from that system.
11 Labs is going to have a lot of competition. This is potentially one of them. The other one is Google that came out, the Shop One, right? They are all playing in the same exact space, right? So it's interesting, and competition is good, right? Because it fosters innovation, creative thinking, and all of that. So definitely, we should keep an eye on this area.
Yeah.
It's a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Really, think I want to also transition us over to the Google Cloud Next 2020, and I think you're going to talk about agent to agent and how they're talking about that during their event.
Yes, yes. Actually, in our last episode, like we talked about MCP. It's interesting, Karthik, you mentioned about MCP just a couple of minutes ago. Now, this new thing, it's called A to A, all three acronyms, right? Like A to A, agent to agent protocol now, right? So there's a difference between MCP and A to A. Maybe we'll start with that, right? So MCP gives more power to a particular agent, right? It gives the tools and all of that necessary to go get the stuff done. Now, we all know there's not going to be only one agent in the world. There's going to be many, many agents. Everybody's going to be creating agents, right? So it makes logical sense for one agent to talk to another agent, right? And this A to A protocol, right, is simplifying that. Like, you speak, Karthik, for example, let's say you speak French and I speak English. Like if we both try to talk, it's not going to work. We need a translator to talk that, right? So very similar to that, this A2A protocol is establishing that standard. You can build your agent in whatever technology you want, whatever framework you want. I can build my agent in whatever way you want. As far as we are adhering to that agent to agent protocol standard, it's good. Again, back to our famous example of planning for a vacation, right? Finding the flight, finding the hotel, finding the Uber, booking all of that. Each could be done by different agents and orchestrated out, right? Using this this A2A protocol. And we're going to throw some, I'm going to share my screen here to show a few things really quick. And we'll throw that link here as well. You guys are able to see my screen, right? Just want to make sure. Yeah. So this is the A2A protocol right there, right? And it explains all the conceptual things that go into the protocol, right? For example, we'll just run through a few of them in this protocol, concept wise, right? See, all of us have a LinkedIn profile, or we have a business card or a visiting card, right? Like that, there is something called agent card where you establish and describe who is this agent? What does it do? What's the endpoint URL? What are the authentication requirements? It all goes into this agent card. A2A server is where an agent is exposing itself via an HTTP mechanism. Client is the one that calls it. Task is the task that we are trying to accomplish. In this case, book a vacation or whatever, right? And the tasks have many messages that go back and forth between these agents. And there are streaming capabilities. There is push notifications. Let's say a hotel agent finishes booking the hotel. It can communicate back and say, I'm done, to the person who initiated it, right? So this is still in the preliminary stages, and several people have already, or companies have already bought into this protocol. I see this as a big game, guys. MCP with a
Yeah.
I
Also,
think this is,
talking about this, it kind of seems a lot similar to like, you know how the internet works with like client server HTTP. It
yeah, that's
sounded
what I was gonna say.
pretty close to what the description of like the internet is, but for agents and agents to talk to each other instead of computers. I mean, it's like the same thing, but like it's a similar thing. I can see you're talking about it there with client server, that sort of thing, and the
interesting
endpoint. All that stuff kind of sounded similar from how the internet works, sort of.
agent world, bunch of millions of agents running around talking to each other. But guys, don't forget one thing that's keeping me up in the night. You know what? Is security. It's all cool, right? What if how do I like think about all of the things, right? If I talk to a guy, is it authentic? How do you know this is the right agent to talk to, right? Is it doing my job?
No, yeah, Arun, the same exact thing happened with the internet back in like 2010 or something like that. The same thing happened. People were concerned with the internet and DNS. Oh, what if somebody poison attack and like you go to the wrong website? It's the same exact thing, but with agents instead of websites this time. It's gonna be with agents.
Guys, some people thought that maybe, we won't have the problem of AI LLMs getting jailbreaked, but I think Google released a new blog post. Something path to AGI is much more clearer now or something. And there they have said that they believe that the jailbreaking will never go away. They will,
Like how hacking internet
yeah,
websites has not
yeah,
gone away.
It's not gone away in
It's
like
yeah,
going to be
20 years or whatever.
yeah.
Like that's still gone away.
But the cool thing though is this is so important and it's going to happen. People are going to figure out all of it, right? This protocol, the standard is going to evolve, and security is going to evolve with it. So we just have to be prepared for it. This is our future, and it is happening. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I think
Okay.
that's all the time we have for today. And yeah, I think we were able to talk about a lot of the new advancements in artificial intelligence this week. Everyone, make sure to tune in next week as we explore the latest advancements from next week of the world of AI and generative AI. And we can't wait to see you all next week. All right, guys. All right.
Guys, we'll see you. Bye.